Alrighty, well, I'm sitting inside a warm house doing my morning devotions here, or just about to start doing my morning devotions. I got my feet in a foot massager that has heat. We're feeling good on that one. Got my Biblia and a nice warm cup of coffee in my Yeti. And we have a guest today. Poop Emoji has joined us. If you aren't aware, Poop Emoji made his debut in 2020. That's why he has a mask on. And Poop Emoji has rode this wave with us all the way to Colorado. Look at the beautiful snow. It's actually very beautiful. I woke up this morning right here on this beautiful bed right here, and my pup was with me. And I looked over, scratching Bria, I looked over and the snow was coming down really beautifully, gently and really nicely, frothy. It's nice when the wind is down and it just kind of comes down thick. And then obviously like when it melts pretty quickly and the sun comes back out. But you know, I mean, a couple days of this is nice, but anything more than that, you're like, I got a little cabin fever. I still got my morning walk-in, half mile around the property, 1 lap around. 10 acres, 1 lap around is about a half mile. So I'm gonna enjoy my coffee and some time with the Lord. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this morning's agenda, which is a Sunday, of course, if you see food like this in my hand, we have beautiful sourdough waffles, organic peanut butter on top with organic syrup from Costco. The sausages, not sure about those. I think those might be from Costco, but these are already pre-made. They were in the refrigerator, left over from Christmas. And bada bing, bada boom, we're gonna slip them in the air fryer. You guys know I only use my air fryer. I don't use my microwave anymore. Let's get those suckers nice and hot. Let's put it in for 456 minutes, air frying, and that's gonna be a lovely treat. After Christmas specials? What? After Christmas specials, couches, play toys. This is a nice little solid piece. Let's go in for something a little closer. Alrighty, sports fans. Looking absolutely fantastic. Beautiful day today. Window is down. I was actually pretty overheated in church with this little flannel right here. Now little split story I actually was just thinking about. I actually found this. This is an O'Neill kind of surf little button up. It has like magnetic little buttons. It's actually really warm. Actually found this here in this complex right behind me that we just went to. Saw the gaming chair. I mean, it's kind of I'd say a bachelor condition, where if you were a bachelor, not really like resellable, had a few scratches in it, but again, bachelor, you're 19, you're 22, 23, you don't really care, you're just trying to live the dream. So on a side note, we've been having absolutely beautiful weather, but on another side note, I'm not gonna hate the beautiful weather. Cali boy, being in Colorado, where we have like today, like 58 degrees, sunshine, I'm not gonna hate on that one, but my trees do need water, and my well pumps, not my well pump, but like my handle little faucets that I have throughout the property. Unfortunately, the one that's attached to most of the tree drip system is frozen, meaning that it's just frozen. You can't lift the handle. No water comes out because it's frozen. I'm gonna try today because today's been actually a warmer day. But we need some more snow to lay the ground. Now we had a lot of snow and it was like slowly dripping down into the ground, which is excellent for the trees. But that's how the trees are watered. Even though they go dormant during the wintertime, they still need water, and the snow waters the trees. So I'm praying for a good, nice snowstorm to come in, water the trees, or that my drip system would be unfrozen, because again, loving the beautiful weather. I did a fire pit outside the other night, 30-degree weather. I was bundled up, had the fire pit going, and it was absolutely beautiful. Not to mention my morning devotion time. I get my grounding in, take off my socks and shoes, ground in the morning with my fire pit. Been really enjoying that. So let's continue on today. Alrighty, so we're heading up. We're gonna go scope this out a little bit here. Let's see what we got. We got a monster can. They actually had one over on the other side as well. We'll drive around that guy a little bit. Just ran over the curb here. Let's go see what's inside here. I saw a cooler, but I mean, I do have a Yeti right next to me, but let's see what's going on. Okay, small little cooler, if you needed it. I'm gonna skip it. Some silverware with some mason jars. A toilet cleaning thing, some patio little benches that are plastic, little spare tire wrench. Again, this is the big old canister here. Slow roll it. Doesn't look like much. Alrighty, so just saw a table and chairs. Curious to see what the condition is. This is one of my favorite compactors that's over here. It's actually at a really nice complex, and more complexes are being initiated around here, like that brand new complex right there. But the crazy part is they just don't get rid of stuff like in California. There's more reselling happening here. It's just more of a mindset of they can sell things and make some dollars. Or maybe there's like more drop areas and people are more like acquainted with like, okay, I'm just gonna like donate it or try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. See, where I was in California, people were not like reselling. They didn't have those mindsets. I mean, not everyone, but most of the people there, they would literally look at, like, I mean, I was just thinking about it today. I was like, I probably found like 6 Dyson vacuums, maybe more than that, 8 Dyson vacuums, like 5 handhelds, 2 really good ones, actually more than 2 really good ones. Probably found like 10, 12, including corded Dysons. Battery powered ones, like, yeah, like 4 or 5 of those. And what happened with those most of the time is the batteries would go out and it would only last like 2 minutes, and then people are like, oh, it's broke, instead of like, oh, let me just, you know, pop a $15 battery in here and we'll get this back up and running. And most of the time it was always like the V6s, the battery powereds. I think one time I found a V7, which was really nice. That was more like high end. Obviously I think they're up to like the V10 or 11 now, and those ones are very pricey at Costco right now. All right, so here we are at the table and chairs. Let's go ahead and go on in here for a little peek-a-rooney. I'm gonna have to get a better parking spot. Well, the table's not bad. It's solid wood. It'd be more of like a kid's craft table. I mean, you could resurface this, just sand it down and put a new little lacquer spray on there. Again, 3 chairs, so you are missing 1 chair as well. That's why they probably got rid of it. 1 chair probably broke. Solid wood, not bad. Don't know if that's up for grabs or not. If it's not, that's in a pretty terrible location, but that is a really nice snow shovel. Unfortunately, I'd feel bad if I took that, because you never know if that's the workers that just placed that in the corner, but kind of a bad area for up for grabs. Anyway, project table, definitely nice, not bad. Alrighty, so the table was not bad, as we saw. Definitely a crafts table or just a spare table, even like a workbench. Those come in super handy. I have an old one that actually was kind of like, you know, pieced together by my former owner of my house. I laid drywall on it. I cut drywall outside. And if I didn't have one of those already, that actually, I think actually has a little bit more space, volume to it than the one I actually currently have. Not to mention project table, like if you work on TVs, I used to find TVs all the time, still do. You have boards on them that are out that you need to like take the television back off, and instead of lying it on the ground on a blanket, you would put a blanket on that table so you don't have to lean over, work on the television. You guys get the idea. It's a table, Chris. I know, but I'm giving you guys ideas if you ever come across one yourself, and you do need it. All right, we got some of my other favorite complexes here we're pulling into. It's a beautiful evening. Kind of hard to see, but the front range is right there. Snow-capped mountaintop. Absolutely stunning golden hour. Alrighty, grab myself 4 pallets, which I'm pretty stoked on. And the reason I grabbed pallets was, well, funny story. I'm pulling up in front of this one really nice pallet, probably the best one out of 4 of them. And I pulled up like right in front of the security office, and a guy was outside, and I was like, hey brother, that pallet up for grabs, that clean one? He's like, yeah, you can grab one. I was like, cool man, thanks. So we're pretty pumped on that one. And the reason I grabbed pallets was my cold plunge. For some oddball reason, the water flow is just not going through the filter. I actually bought a really nice beefy filter for it, and what's happening is like the water flow is not going like down, so I need to raise my cold plunge up a little bit. And instead of building a platform out of like good wood, just stack some pallets. And sure, it's going to be kind of an eyesore, but this is just temporary, because eventually I'm going to get like a really nice freestanding tub from like Home Depot or Lowe's, and I'm going to go ahead and like drill into it and put all my pipes and filters and all that stuff. I'm going to really dial in an actual freestanding freestanding bathtub. You can do a horse trough as well, or what people do, like where they plant plants in a horse trough, like, you know, real long. Now, my previous neighbor, not my new neighbor, my previous neighbor gave me a horse trough. It's smaller, it's actually round, and it's deep, but not as deep as my cold plunge. The reason I like my cold plunge is because I see a lot of people cold plunging, and they're only going up to like their chest area, like lower than their chest. And I'm like, man, my shoulders get sore from workouts. Like, I want to go all the way up to like my chin. So that's what I've been doing. You know, I don't want to go up to like, you know, like right here. I want to go all the way up to my neck. So I do like a deep one. So a freestanding bathtub, you have to get a long one so that you can actually like lay out in it. I want to get my knees and everything. Like, what's the point of a cold plunge if your like knees are sticking out, your shoulders are sticking out? Like, those are the things that get sore as well. So I'm pretty pumped on this. This is going to raise me up so that I can get my filter working again. All right, so we're still out dumpster diving. Unfortunately, what is it, 446 right now? And because we have a 14,000 foot mountain right next to us on the front range, the sun dips behind it and it just gets dark quicker. When I was in Dallas, Texas, real beautiful sunlight. Let me get a back shot here behind the range right there. Beautiful golden hour sunset. And when I was in Dallas, Texas, because they didn't have any mountains for the sun to go behind and kind of like, you know, tuck in there a little bit quicker, it stayed lighter a little bit longer. Now, winter solstice already happened, so that was winter solstice day. I believe that counts as the longest nighttime, and then it's only going to get like more lighter from here on out, which is really good. I am personally on the bandwagon of I want to see more light. It's just, I mean, I like to be outside doing yard work at 7 o'clock at night instead of like 5:30 where it's like barely any light, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to enjoy my days. All right, so we got ourselves some boxes out here. This is a newer complex I'm in. There's a guy walking his dog, but you know what? Nobody cares anymore. No one really looks at you anymore unless you're like getting, you know, acting shady or something like that. Most people are walking their dogs on their cell phones these days. It's kind of crazy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I can be a scroller myself, but there's certain tasks that I do not want to do well, I am on my phone. And I think I've talked to you guys about it before. I've caught myself, I really very rarely ever do it, but occasionally I'll get caught in like a doom scroll where it's like 15 minutes later and you're like, why did I watch? There's nothing good that just happened during that watch. Like, I'll go from a couple surf clips and then all of a sudden, like, it's, sorry, I'm looking in these cans right here. I went from a couple surf clips to like street fights and I'm like, what am I watching? Like this like hatred towards each other, street fights? Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever done. Like, why are you wasting 15 minutes watching street fights or people like, you know, like street racing their cars and crashing? Like, the algorithm is really weird. Like, it'll be like surfing, like dudes talking about nutrition and getting jacked, which, you know what I'm saying, like, that's something I'm intrigued on. I love nutrition. I love to get jacked. And then all of a sudden it's like a street fight and then like, you know, like a brawl. And I'm like, what? But it catches you and sucks you in. And I'm like, nah, we ain't gonna give our minds to this. This is trash. Nothing good. Like, you don't leave a 15-minute doom scroll like that and be like, dude, I'm pumped. Man, I'm stoked for the year. You know what I'm saying? No. You're like, what the heck was that about? Why did I do that again? So I've caught myself over the last like few months. I think I've done that like 3 times now. And as long as you're aware of it, you won't do it. So again, like I've said in the past, now what I do is I get on, hold on, let me show you. The camera's not gonna do it justice, but it's absolutely golden hour. Snow on the peak, beautiful sunset, and it's gorgeous. Anyway, so what I do now is I go on, I post my reel on Instagram. I spend barely any time on Instagram because that algorithm can be very destructive to a man and a woman because of all the flashiness. But not only the flashiness, you got to be very careful. I've told you in the past about searching. I stay off Instagram search unless I'm going to a very specific thing like Costa Rican surf whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because if you go on search and the algorithm and the enemy is coming against you, next thing you know, you got scantily clad women in your face, and for you ladies, you have like these little like Zac Efron looking dudes with perfect genetics. Ah, can't stand those guys. No, I'm just kidding. It's like Chris Hemsworth. So the other day I was like, check it out, guy, follow Chris Hemsworth. He's Thor. He's the actor that plays Thor. So I'm following Chris Hemsworth on Instagram, and the dude has, you know, a beautiful family. His kids rip, and he was on a surf trip, and Chris Hemsworth shreds a surfboard. And I'm like, I text the group and I shared the clip, and I was like, oh, okay. So not only is this guy a multi-million-dollar actor and won the genetics lottery because he's like really good looking dude, he's jacked, and also he can surf and shred. Oh, sure. Let's just throw that he can rip. And like, we're talking about he could be on tour. He's that good. Like, he rips. And so it's like, I'm like, you know what? But do you want the whole world and lose your soul? Answer is no. I pray that Chris Hemsworth becomes a solid believer of Jesus Christ. Am I jealous? No. In the perfect world, would I want a few items that he has? Sure. Why not? But we are all given gifts and talents, and we are to use those gifts and talents for the Lord and to use them for others. I mean, you could see the light in the background. I'm just looking at it. The camera's not doing it justice. I'm just looking at the beautiful weather above the mountain. Absolutely stunning. A warm winter day. There's Shields off in the distance where I got this Yeti. That Yeti right here. Got my Costco frozen berries in there. Looking absolutely fantastic. On a side note, if you guys have not wrote down your 2025 goals yet, I highly encourage you to do that. Statistically, you are 43% more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. Now, take it a step further. You review the goals every single day, and there's actually a hack that people do to achieve their goals even quicker. So what you do is you write down your goals, you review them every day. Yep, she's taking photos of that mountain range. It's so beautiful as I'm driving by right now. So you take pictures of your goals, not pictures of your goals, you review your goals, but what you do for another hack is you write them down. And statistically, they actually state that you shouldn't have more than 10 goals. So I divide my goals into categories. I put personal and spiritual. I have 10 personal goals, and I think I have like 5 or 6 spiritual goals. I'll share one goal with you for my spiritual list, and that is I want to disciple one man in the year 2025. And so for your personal goals, you want to have 7 to 10 personal goals. And then what you do is you every day starting January 1st through January 31st, you rewrite those goals every day on a piece of paper. And if you can't remember certain goals, that just doesn't mean they're as important as the ones you can remember. And then you can re-look at your sheet, but you do that over and over and over again, and you pray about them. You seek the Lord about them. You say, Lord, is there any one of these goals that you want me to knock off the list? Add something else. And hold on one second. I'm gonna go down this way. It's getting pretty dark right now. The camera's not picking that up, but there is a bin over here. So you write down those goals every single day and you pray over them. There's a scripture in Mark, I believe it's Mark 11 or 13, talks about if you pray, asking the Father and believe that you've already received it. I'm doing a ministry video. My next ministry video is manifestation evil? And what does the Bible say about manifestation? So definitely tune into that video. That video will be up on the channel either after this one, which might be after. Okay, there's a box next to this dumpster. I don't see anything poking out of the box, so I'm gonna skip it. I mean, goodness gracious, hold on. No, the camera's not doing that justice. The sky is just lit up right now. It's gorgeous. So, as believers, we want to be very careful of manifestation, because what manifestation is it's taking God out of the equation and it's turning you into you're the one that did it. Everything is by the grace of God. Yes, you are putting in work in certain areas, but most of the time you're just being obedient to what God has called you to do, or you're being obedient to the Lord's word and he's blessing you for that. Just like salvation, it's a free gift, it's undeserved, and the success in your life, like Deuteronomy 8. If you've never read Deuteronomy 8, read Deuteronomy 8 and read the New Living Translation. I love it because it literally says, that the Lord tested the Israelites in the land of wilderness so that they could not say by their own effort they became successful. It was the Lord's blessing over them that made them successful. And then Moses writes in Deuteronomy 8, but that is the time when you do find success, when you have built fine homes to live in, when your flocks and herds have increased, and when you have stacked up, I'm paraphrasing, but stacked up gold and silver for yourself. That is the time to be careful. In your plenty, you do not forget the Lord your God, who's given you the power to be successful. He has given it to you, not you giving it to yourself. And please comment down below. I'm kind of struggling with when people say like, oh, you deserve it, or something like that. And they're like, oh, you deserve it. You deserve, like, you know, these blessings coming to you. And I'm like, I'm fighting with that. Like, am I being too hard on myself? Like, do I deserve it? And I'm not trying to be legalistic or anything like that, but like, you know, like, let's say like you just bought a new house and a new car, and then people say like, oh, you deserve it. I'm like, do I really? Do I really? Like, sure, I've been obedient to the Lord. Sure, there's been stripping and refining in my life, but like, do I deserve it? So I'm trying to press into that, and I'm trying not to be, you know, legalistic, you know, or anything like that, but instead, I want to say like, thank you, God. Like, thank you for the blessing. So instead of saying I deserve it, I want to say thank you, Lord. I want to put it all back on the Lord and say thank you. And again, when people say you deserve it, there's no like ill intention. I just even hear other believers on YouTube videos, you know, talking about like, you know, coming out of the wilderness, crossing the Jordan, and they're like, you deserve it. And I'm like, is that how we're supposed to view it? So anyway, wrestling a little bit with that, praying in more to that. Okay. This is going to be my last complex because it is getting dark, and actually we're right next to a really nice complex, so maybe this one and one more. The one right next to the amphitheater. Let's see, I think people are over here. Let's see, is that somebody right there? Yep. Are they scoping out some goodies? Yep, they sure are. What, they got a cat perch right there? They're taking photos or researching something or other. It's a whole like cat perch slash like litter box, like a really nice looking thing. Not like the cat condo we found, but they were taking photos, maybe trying to take that for somebody else. Anyway, we'll skip out on that one. No need for that. We'll let them have a nice little plunder time there. Yeah, we're gonna go hit one more. I've been chatting your ear off, so let's go ahead and take a little breather, and we'll be back with you in just a second. Sorry, just thought of one more thing. Have any of you guys, has the Lord spoken to you over your life of rest? And you're like, Chris, what does that mean? What I mean by that, has God recently in your time alone with him in prayer has told you to rest? Like you feel like you've been going hard, or maybe not like hard, but maybe like in preparation for what the Lord has for you next, where it's going to be big. And you don't have to share what it is, but if you feel the Lord has called you into rest, please go ahead and comment down below, because I've been hearing more and more believers talk how the Lord is kind of bringing them into a season of rest. And I'll just share my own personal testimony real quickly here, is I believe, now actually I'm coming out of rest, because the next seasons, it's like, we're talking extended seasons, not just a season. The next half of the book is gonna be absolutely beautiful, and the Lord wanted me to rest in preparation of that. So if that makes any sense to you, comment down below. Be like, yeah, Chris, the Lord has spoken rest over me. I'm actually resting right now, and would love to hear it. Okay, this is the brand new complex next to the beautiful amphitheater here. Let's go around and see what we got. And let's just cruise by this one live right here with you. Some boxes, nothing much there. There is the Ford amphitheater there, brand new. Ladies and gentlemen, you know me, I get on my little kicks. We got ourselves the Costco chicken pot pie once again. Just got out of the oven, 135. Timer, 1 hour and 35 minutes. For my personal oven, it's a top rack. If you haven't seen my unremodeled portion, this is the secondary kitchen. It has a bottom rack and a top rack, so your time may differ. 375 degrees, 1 hour and 35 minutes, beautiful edges. As we can see right here, we're gonna tuck into this. We're gonna go choose my movie while this cools down just a few minutes. And I'm looking forward to taking down a nice big hunk of this.